Okay, let's unpack this. The geopolitical air in South Asia feels particularly charged right now, doesn't it?
It really does. We're seeing these credible reports, heightened tensions between India and Pakistan.
Yeah, statements from Pakistan's information minister about a potential Indian strike,
Hmm.
and then the Indian PM granting this, well, operational freedom to the military.
It certainly raises eyebrows, and you combine that with the increased military readiness we're hearing about on the Pakistani side.
Exactly. Activating air defenses, troop movements, drills.
It definitely echoes past situations, post-security crises. You can't help but draw parallels.
But what's really fascinating here, and maybe gets a bit lost in the immediate headlines,
Yeah.
is how these regional tensions could ripple outwards.
Hmm.
I mean, even if a big conflict is unlikely, a smaller clash.
Could become a sort of real-world testbed for a military kit. We've seen that elsewhere, right?
Precisely. And that's the angle we're taking for this deep dive. Beyond just India-Pakistan, could a limited conflict essentially test Chinese military tech supplied to Pakistan?
A bit like Ukraine has become for Western and Russian weapons, yeah.
So if we think bigger picture, the performance of these Chinese systems,
Yeah.
it's not just tactical, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. It's about their global reputation, their export potential. There's a huge difference between what's on the brochure and what works under fire.
Right. So let's get specific. What kit are we focusing on today?
Okay, we've got the J-10C and the JF-17 fighter jets.
Mm-hmm.
Then the HQ-9P air defense system.
Okay.
The SH-15 howitzer for ground fire.
And drones.
And the CH-4 drone, yes. The idea is to explore what their performance, if they see action, might actually reveal.
Which raises that key question. How would this Chinese gear stack up against India's arsenal, which has a lot of Western, Russian, other origin stuff?
A very important question for anyone tracking global military tech.
Let's start at the sharp end then, the J-10C fighter jet.
Right. Pakistan got heads turning in 2021, buying 25 of these. They're the first and so far only export customer.
And it's billed as a 4.5 generation fighter, which for listeners generally means advanced avionics, maybe AS radar, but not quite full stealth like 5th gen.
Correct. They were officially inducted into the Pakistan Air Force, the PAF, back in 2022.
And the intent behind it, what was the thinking?
Well, the former PAF chief said something interesting. He suggested it could revolutionize its operational thought. Basically, change how they fight.
How so?
He pointed to things like better electronic warfare, jamming enemy systems, and getting that crucial first shot in an air battle.
And the comparison started immediately, didn't they? Especially with the U.S. F-16 Block 70.
Oh, yeah. China is actively pushing the J-10C, particularly in the Middle East, as, well, better and cheaper than the F-16, but also the Eurofighter Typhoon, even the French Rafale.
And the price tag.
Reported around 40 to 50 million US dollars, significantly less than its Western competitors.
Okay, technically speaking, what does the J-10C bring to the table?
Some impressive stuff on paper. An indigenous ASO radar that's active electronically scanned array, very advanced for detection and tracking.
Right.
It uses the PL-10 missile with an imaging infrared seeker, has the WS-10B engine, and can carry those advanced PL-15 air-to-air missiles.
Plus the electronic warfare we mentioned, a modern glass cockpit.
Precise air-to-ground capability, beyond visual range combat, even in-flight refueling. It ticks a lot of boxes for a modern fighter.
But like always with these comparisons, there's nuance. We heard from Air Marshal Anil Chopra, retired from the Indian Air Force.
Yes, and he felt comparing it directly to the Rafale was, quote, somewhat unfair.
Why unfair?
His point was the Rafale is twin-engine, which offers redundancy and often more power. It's combat-proven in multiple conflicts, and he highlighted its electronic warfare suite as unparalleled.
So even though both are 4.5 gen multi-role fighters,
he argues the Rafale has an edge in tech sophistication, weapons, engines, and critically, that real-world combat experience.
Which brings us back to the core point. A real clash, even a small one,
would give invaluable, unvarnished data on the J-10C against a top-tier, combat-tested French fighter like the Rafale in the Indian inventory.
Not just for India and Pakistan, but for China and potential buyers globally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Moving beyond specs and simulations to actual operational effectiveness against a tough opponent.
Okay, let's shift to the JF-17, also a fighter jet, but different.
Yes, a lighter weight, multi-role aircraft, a joint project between Pakistan and China, which is significant in itself.
And the latest versions, like the Block 3, are getting quite sophisticated.
They are, especially the Block 3. Improved avionics, electronics, flight controls. And crucially, it also gets an ASA radar now.
So that boosts its detection, tracking, electronic warfare,
Yeah.
brings it closer to higher-end fighters.
Exactly. And in terms of what it carries, it's punch.
Yeah.
It's pretty versatile. It can fire Chinese air-to-air missiles, the PO-10, the medium-range PL-12, and that long-range PL-15 again.
Plus other weapons. Bombs, anti-ship missiles.
Guided, unguided bombs, anti-ship missiles, yes. It's a flexible platform.
Now, that combination, the JF-17 Block 3 and the PL-15 missiles, sounds potent.
Potentially, yes. The PL-15's range, maybe 200, even 300 kilometers, theoretically allows for standoff attacks.
Meaning they could hit targets from far away without flying right into heavy defenses.
That's the idea. Whether it truly delivers that capability under pressure is, well, what everyone would be watching.
And China and Pakistan are trying to sell this JF-17 Block 3 internationally.
They are, but they've had a couple of recent setbacks. Lost out to the F-16 in Argentina and the Korean FA-50 in Malaysia.
So real-world performance data becomes even more important for its sales pitch.
Absolutely critical. Existing customers, Nigeria, Myanmar, Azerbaijan, and potential ones like Bolivia or Iraq, they'll be scrutinizing how it does against India's Su-30 MKIs, Rafales, Mirage 2000s.
Okay, let's turn to ground-based systems now. Air defense. The HQ-9 system.
Right. Pakistan has the HQ-9P variant. It's a long-range surface-to-air missile, or SAM, system from China, designed to counter various aerial threats.
And its origins are interesting, aren't they? Linked to Russian tech.
Yes, its development reportedly drew on tech from Almazanti, the Russian company behind the famous S-300, S-400, even the S-500 systems. It definitely incorporates elements from the S-300.
China's used the HQ-9 for a while, starting with the HQ-9A in the early 2000s. Pakistan got the HQ-9P variant in 2021. Technically, how does it work?
It uses something called track via missile, or TVM guidance. Starts with inertial guidance, gets mid-course updates from the ground radar, then switches to active or semi-active radar homing for the kill.
And its radar.
The HT-233. It's a 3D phased array radar, supposedly capable of tracking maybe up to 100 targets at once.
But there's a difference in range, isn't there, between China's version and Pakistan's?
That's what reports suggest. The HQ-9B used by China might reach out 250, 300 kilometers. But the Pakistani HQ-9P is claimed to have a maximum range of only 125 kilometers.
And even less against things like cruise missiles.
Potentially much shorter, yes. Maybe around 25 kilometers against low-flying, fast-moving targets like that.
Still, even with a shorter range, it could create a defensive bubble, couldn't it? Deter Indian aircraft and drones.
It certainly aims to. Its actual effectiveness, especially against sophisticated or stealthy threats in a real fight, that's what would be under the microscope.
Okay, let's switch to firepower on the ground. The SH-15 howitzer.
Yes, inducted by the Pakistan Army in 2019. It's a mobile 6x6 wheeled self-propelled gun, very modern looking.
Key feature is the gun itself.
NATO standard 155 millimeter. That means it can fire a wide variety of ammo standard high explosive, precision, laser-guided GP6 rounds, even rocket-assisted projectiles to boost the range.
How far can it reach?
Up to 50 kilometers with the right ammunition. And it can fire fast, maybe 6 rounds a minute. Good for laying down a barrage quickly.
And it has modern targeting aids.
Digital fire control, GPS plus, China's Beidou navigation, thermal imaging, all designed for accuracy, even in tricky terrain like Kashmir.
How does it compare to, say, India's K9 Vajra, which is tracked?
The SH-15 is wheeled and lighter, around 25 tons. That makes it much easier to deploy rapidly, move on roads quickly, maybe even airlift.
Faster deployment, then.
Definitely. It also has an automated loading system, needs only a 5-person crew, plus a machine gun for self-defense.
And being wheeled means it's fast on roads.
Up to 90 kilometers per hour. That allows for shoot-and-scoot tactics, fire quickly, and then move before the enemy can target you back.
So its role would be?
Targeting Indian forward posts, command centers, troop concentrations, disrupting operations near the border with its range, speed, and precision.
Okay, one more system. The CH-4 drone.
The CH-4B Rainbow variant, yes. A Chinese medium-altitude, long-endurance UAV, combat-proven elsewhere.
Could be a significant boost for Pakistan, especially along the line of control.
Potentially, yes. For surveillance, reconnaissance, maybe even strikes, it does look a bit like the U.S. MQ-9 Reaper.
What are its specs? Endurance, range.
About 14 hours endurance, range up to 1,500 kilometers. That means it can loiter over an area for a long time. gather real-time intel.
And it can carry weapons.
Yes, a payload of around 345 kilograms. Things like AR-1 laser-guided missiles, FT-9 guided bombs, maybe even anti-radiation missiles to target enemy radar.
Sensors. Can it see day and night? Bad weather.
It has electro-optical infrared sensors for day-night vision and synthetic aperture radar for seeing through clouds or bad weather. Very useful in places like Kashmir.
And it can be controlled from far away.
Via satellite link, yes. Beyond line-of-sight control. Gives it a lot of operational flexibility.
So in a short conflict, it's a tool for watching, striking precisely, maybe electronic warfare too.
Exactly. But its weakness, vulnerability. How would it survive against India's more advanced air defenses, like the S-400? That's a big question mark.
Which brings us right back to where we started. This potential conflict, hopefully avoided,
Could become this intense, real-world showcase of how effective or perhaps limited these Chinese systems really are in action.
and the implications, as we've said, go way beyond the immediate battlefield.
For sure. Military analysts, defense ministries, potential buyers all over the world, they'll be watching very, very closely. Especially how these systems perform against India's established combat-tested gear from the West and elsewhere.
It really makes you think. Beyond the tactics, what broader strategic shifts might this signal? If these Chinese systems perform well or poorly,
That's the final thought to leave with you, the listener. What could the performance tell us about the future global arms market? About the balance of military power? How might it shape future security decisions worldwide?
well, hopefully this deep dive has given you some valuable perspective on what's a really complex and significant situation, especially for those of you preparing for your UPSC exams.
Absolutely. Understanding these geopolitical currents, the tech involved, it's vital for current affairs, both mains and prelims.
And much of the information we discussed today is drawn from analysis by the Eurasian Times. If you found this breakdown helpful for your UPSC prep,
Please do like and subscribe. We'll have more deep dives on relevant topics.
And definitely leave a comment. Any questions you have, or other areas related to your UPSC syllabus you'd like us to tackle, let us know.